Sebastian Salazar and Herculez Gomez are here, of course, to reflect on that extraordinary game last night, the first ever final of the CONCACAF Nations League. And I tell you what, it's going to take some beating. The US, of course, in extra time, beating Mexico by 3-2. We could dedicate the whole program to this because there are so many different talking points. Let's just talk about how fun it was. How great this was just as an event, Seb.
Yeah, I mean, we're suckers on this show for like a top 5 list. We could have done a top 10 of the incidents in this match, and I don't think that we would have covered it all. The intensity was there. The USA-Mexico rivalry feels like it's back. It's been a while since we had a game that intense between these two teams. We've seen a lot of friendlies between them recently, and frankly, a lot of Mexico dominance in the big games. So aside from the intensity, the turning point, I mean, there's so much narrative, so much build-up with this U.S. team. It felt like a lot of payoff, I know, for a lot of U.S. fans. But really, everything in the game, from the fast start to the incredible finish, the heroics from Ethan Horvath, I don't think there's a storyline that this game didn't have, really. Herc?
Yeah, I agree. When you talk about
I'm the presenter, Seb. I'd say who goes next.
Get him, Dan. Get him.
Goodness me. Can't even dress properly. What was interesting about this, that the quality wasn't necessarily that high from either side. But
you're right.
Just from an entertainment value, it had it all.
It really did have it all. Maybe the play wasn't there. Tactically, technically, it wasn't a great spectacle. But when you talk about the drama, when you talk about these intense moments, when you talk about what is USA versus Mexico, I mean, it's the 8th final that these teams have met, and only the 2nd time that the U.S. has beaten Mexico in a final. It was a big moment, especially when you consider that the U.S. didn't particularly play well. Tactically, they probably got a lot of things wrong. The 3-man back line, the 3 center backs, and 2 of the center backs are flanking John Brooks, had an awful day. Player selection in a lot of different spots. Acosta, Yunus Musa not playing, Tyler Adams not being ready. When you say all this and how poorly they played, 3 of your European stars, the youngest players, your actual stars, Gio Reyna, Weston McKennie, and Christian Pulisic, scored goals. Your starting goalkeeper leaves injured. Zach Steffen, Horvath comes in. The substitute, at the death, a walk-off penalty kick save. The dramatics were going everywhere. We can come and we can talk about Mexico and what they didn't do. But this final really felt big, and it really had it all.
Of course it did. I'm going to tell you this, and I don't want to overstate it. I don't want to hype things up. I can't remember watching a game and enjoying it as much as I did this one for a long, long time. You know me very well, Dan. Mm-hmm. I don't love many things.
No?
No. I don't.
Sebi Salazar is one of them.
I do not love Sebi Salazar. He knows that very well. But I love this game.
Yeah.
I really, really did. From the very first minute to the last minute, I cannot remember a game that kept my attention the way this game did. It was open. It was back and forth. It had absolutely, completely everything. And it had narratives everywhere, rhetoric everywhere. It was good individual performance, bad individual performances, good coaching decisions, bad coaching decisions, good defending, bad defending. And you can go from both teams. You can say good USA, bad USA, good Mexico, bad Mexico. It was all over the place. And because it had all of this, I think the ultimate exclamation point to this game was the referee when he went to VAR.
Go on, Ali. Go on.
That it was a penalty. Give it the full screen and going, the biggest screen you can come up with, this, and then, penalty!
He was so excited.
And that game actually deserved that point.
That's what a drama. Neither were penalties, were they, Seb?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the one called against Carlos Salcedo for me is just not a penalty. I know that refs are supposed to call things the same, whether it's first minute of the match or whatever, 110th minute of extra time, but you don't give that penalty there, and you definitely don't give it if you've got to overturn a non-call on the field. That's, I think, the biggest point there is you go to VAR, you're looking for something clear and obvious that there was a mistake made on the field. I don't think so. I think Salcedo's there first, and I think he's playing the ball, and he takes it away. So not a penalty for me. The second one for me is a penalty. Yeah, the Mexico penalty for sure. I think that was, ball off the hand, even if it's close range. the hand is well away from the body. So I do think that was a penalty, but the heroics from Horvath bail him out.
Herc, Pulisic had done nothing all game. He was pretty much anonymous, and then he steps up and takes that penalty, and what a pen.
Not only does he take it, you just said what a pen, with authority. He roofs it. I mean, completely leaves Guillermo Ochoa helpless, can't do anything. When you talk about big moments, iconic moments in the history of what is this Clásico U.S. men's national team versus Mexico, that will go down as one of them. 115 minutes invisible. Did really, to the naked eye, not much. But when you look at the stats, he was very effective in the final third for the U.S. men's national team. Maybe that shows you how little the U.S. men's national team had going forward, but he was there. And when he needed to take the ball, when he needed to say, I am the new leader of this team, I want to be the next superstar here, what did he do? He won the game for the U.S. men's national team, and then he shushed the crowd. It is an iconic American moment for Christian Pulisic, one that will live in infamy for a lot, but in the hearts of many U.S. men's national team supporters for years to come.
And then that final twist.
Honestly, for those of us that have been fortunate enough to have played this game at a high level, you start seeing things and you start feeling things. I'm sitting at home, and the moment it's called a penalty, I told my kid who's sitting next to me, this guy's going to save it. Because that's the storyline.
Yes, coming off the bench.
Yeah, coming off the bench. And I don't know if Herc has gone through something like this, but there are times in which you're warming up, whatever, and then the other goalkeeper on the other team gets injured. All of a sudden, he's not starting. That was the worst thing for me. Because I'm thinking, now this guy's going to have a blinder. He wasn't supposed to be here. Now, all of a sudden, he's stopping everything. And that is exactly what Ethan Horvath did here. He showed up, he's making saves left and right, and then makes the biggest save of them all. If you sold this as a movie script, people will be like, of course, the American is always winning. The American guy never dies in the end. Bruce Willis never dies. Yeah. Well, in this case, it happened in reality. The American guy did not die in the end and made a big save, and everybody's happy.
If I could jump on that really quickly, Ali's exactly right, because it is storybook, it is Hollywood-esque. I mean, he comes on off the bench in his hometown, the town he grew up in, of all, to save the day.
From a US perspective as well, so much hype about some of the youngsters playing in Europe. You take a look at someone like Weston McKennie, had an awful start, Seb, but then really showed character, and this is going to be so key, isn't it? If the US are going to get something done over the coming years, to have someone like that at the heart of the team.
Right, you know, Christian Pulisic's wearing the captain's armband, but I think we're starting to see there's a lot of other leadership on this team. And it's young guys, it's Tyler Adams. Last night it was Weston McKennie, you know. Hector Herrera puts his hands on McKinney's throat, and McKennie, to his credit, keeps his cool. And those corner kicks, man, that's been a problem for Mexico for a long time, and especially against the U.S. I remember watching U.S.-Mexico games back in the 90s. You'd be holding your breath every time there was a U.S. corner against Mexico. So it's no surprise that that's kind of the thing that did Mexico in. But yeah, Weston McKennie, incredible. And it's just confirmation, guys. You know, you see where all these players for the U.S. are playing. It's logical that at some point they're going to overtake Mexico. This feels like that first step.
To the point of the corner kick, the corner kick struggles for Mexico. When I'm saying bad coaching, you see that McKennie is getting to every header on the corner kick. How do you give him a free run? How come nobody says, I'm going to pick this guy up, and at the very least, he's not going to get a free run? That should not be happening.
Apparently, we can only afford you for one more question, guys. Herc, obviously, you work a lot on ESPN Deportes, interacting with a lot of Mexican fans. How has this result been received?
It's funny because they're trying to play it off as if it doesn't matter, but this also coincides with what are the Mexican elections, so a lot of attention is divided here, but this matters. Tata Martino and his tenure is now thrown up in the air. This is definitely something now Tata Martino has an immense amount of pressure for Gold Cup to win it, and if not, we could be talking his job.
Guys,
yeah,
thank you very much.
It's a big deal, whatever they say.
Yeah, Seb, whatever you're saying. Right, OK, just a reminder, you can hear Seb and what he had to say and whether or not it was relevant or important.
Well, probably not.
On the latest edition of Futbol Americas, which is available to watch now here on Plus. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.